Thank you very much, Bindu. I think the ingredients that you identified, again, very important: inclusiveness, competitiveness, environmental sustainability, and leadership. Again, these are themes that have been coming up again and again. Thank you for highlighting that. I liked it very much, the optimistic message that you had, because you said 40% of the growth is going to be coming from the second-tier cities, where we can make a difference. So in that sense, all hope is not lost. It's not too late. We can make a difference through integrated urban strategies. I think that's a very important message, and hopefully we can come back to that during the Q&A session. So let's move on to James. Also, your response to the question, key ingredients for a successful integrated urban strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Good afternoon, everybody. I think we have to accept that integrated planning is a dream for most cities in the world. Perhaps our host city today is one of the few exceptions. We've heard over the last 2 days or so some of the reasons for that. A lot about government being silo-based in terms of departments, but I think also in terms of the different layers of government talking to each other. We've perhaps heard less about the supply side, which I represent part of. A year ago, we would be talking about sectors. We would be talking about rail, transport, power, water. Just beginning on the supply side, people are beginning to talk about cities. And as the Ambassador said, we have only recently set up a cities business within KPMG. I think we are one of the few on the supply side who's done that. You heard yesterday of Siemens, who've recently renamed their business Infrastructure and City. So I think both governments and the supply side have got to think about cities rather than the individual sectors within cities. In terms of ingredients for success, I think I've got 5. First, I'm going to just say it, leadership, and then pass on because lots have been said about it, but it is the most important. The second will sound a bit odd, but host the major games. It's amazing if you look at London and the Olympics, and the same could be said for Rio at the moment, how a major games can galvanize integrated behavior within a city. And perhaps it's because it absolutely produces a leader. There is a totally common purpose, and perhaps most importantly in all, there is an absolute deadline for the completion of the games. And therefore that completely changes behavior. Third ingredient, try it on a greenfield site. Undoubtedly, you see much more integrated behavior in a greenfield situation. We have launched today a document called the Infra 100, which showcases 100 of the best city projects around the world. And within that, there is Tianjin's Eco-City, which is a joint venture between China and Singapore. There's a very good stand down below which you can go and see. But there you are seeing totally integrated planning in practice, but on a greenfield site, which is much easier. Fourth one would be to put the funding in one place. In my experience, different parts of government, different departments within government don't like working with each other. It's culturally a problem for them. They much prefer to sit in their own empires and work on their own. But if you put the money in a single place, then the different parts of government have to come towards the money and work collaboratively to get hold of that money. And the last one is I think we need to change the way we think about cities, and particularly the way we evaluate infrastructure investment within cities. A catchword for this would be to connect the analysis to the vision. So to give you an example, if a city is considering a metro project, there will often be a very, very good vision. That vision will talk about urban regeneration. It will talk about connecting different communities and catalyzing investment in those communities. It will talk about job creation. It will talk about energizing private sector investment alongside the government investment on that metro project. And fundamentally, what the vision will all be about is linking infrastructure investment to economic growth. Now, that's great, but If you look at the way governments, cities analyse projects, they do their project appraisals, it's nothing to do with all those benefits. It will simply be the traditional cost-benefit analysis, and probably the prime thing in a metro project will be reducing commuter times. No link to economic growth at all. So, to me, what we need is, yes, a holistic look at cities. We need to prioritize integrated investment. We need that to be sustainable. But fundamentally, we need to make sure that we're looking at all these projects together, we're analyzing them together, we're looking at getting the best bang for the buck for the city from that project, we're looking at really prioritizing economic renewal and fundamentally producing productivity within those cities.